We have with us Sri Mumtaz Ali, known among his friends and disciples as Sri M. He is a crusader of communal harmony, an accomplished yogi and a writer. He has authored several books, including his best-selling autobiography of a yogi. And it is slated for release in Kannada on May 19th at Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, Bangalore. He has done several talks on Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Purana, Sufism, Buddhism, Tantras in the last 25 years of his public life. So, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Vasu.
Sir, I have a few questions for you.
Sure.
So, you have done your autobiography and published in several languages.
Yes.
What do you intend to convey through this?
See, an autobiography is an intimate account of my life. So it's evident from the word autobiography that I am trying to present to the public my personal experiences in the spiritual life, starting from a very young age and continuing till what you see me here sitting at 63 years old. The idea is that even though I was born in a Muslim family, I have searched for the truth without looking at the spiritual search from any narrow religious angle. I have looked at it as a search for truth, as a search for reality. And you will find in the autobiography that all my experiences, starting from the age of 9, when I met my Guru, right up to traveling with him and being with him in the Himalayas for many years, and also my experiences with teachers of other religions, and how I have now concluded, after my experience, that there are different paths to the same truth which you can approach from any angle.
अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति दुःख करने नहि नहि रक्षति दुःख करने भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढजहि धनागमतृष्णा मूढजहि धनागमतृष्णा पुरुषबुद्धिं मनसि तृष्णा पुरुषबुद्धिं मनसि तृष्णा यल्लभते कर्म.
So welcome back to the show. We have with us Sri Mumtaz Ali, known as Sri M. And sir, you just told about your autobiography and why you wrote about why you wrote the
right.
So how can aspirants in this path access your teaching?
Access my teachings, first we have to know what are the teachings to access before.
So what I mean is, do you run any courses through your satsang dash foundation?
No. I don't think any kind of courses will be of much help in going into the spiritual search. I think it should be a one-on-one, because different people are made differently. So they come, but we do have some general courses, which is to prepare one to walk on this field. Unless we know what we are going to ask, what will you ask? So for that we have some basic courses which Satsang Foundation has. It's not like a correspondence course, because I don't believe in correspondence courses. It doesn't work. It only works to get a degree or something, but it doesn't work on the spiritual field. So, but there are courses. The courses mostly are when you come for satsangs. When you have a retreat or a satsang, I give a talk. So people listen to it. That becomes the course. Or the recorded copy of the talks which you can read. It's all either written down or it is already recorded. So this is the lesson you start with. Then you must somehow cultivate the idea that you should meet me one-to-one.
Dear listeners, welcome back. We are in conversation with Sri M. And sir, so the next question for you would be, what is the aim of meditation? Why should one walk that path?
There is no compulsion for anybody to walk on the path of meditation, but people who are not satisfied with ordinary things, they're not happy with their intention, they also want to figure out if life is just this much and go deeper. For such people, meditation can be given as a solution. But there are so many types of meditation. Some meditations are merely to remove stress, which are there, like breathing, watching the breath, chanting a mantra. These are all great because they bring down your stress levels, help you to tackle life in a proper way and so on without much tension. But deep down meditation is trying to find the truth which resides in our hearts, the connection between our inner and the outer. Because I believe that there is an infinite energy and intelligent power behind this universe. And the only place where it can be contacted is in our own heart. The Vedantin calls it the Hridaya. The Sufis call it the Qalb. The Christians call it the heart. When Jesus Christ said in the Gospel, "Lay treasures in your heart, where thieves do not break in and steal," he was talking about that inner Hridaya, the inner essence, the essence of our consciousness, which is a link to the Supreme Being, whom you can call God, or you can simply say the Nameless One. And it is an all-pervading reality which is not absent anywhere. The Ishavasya Upanishad says, Ishavashyamidam sarvam. There is no place where it does not exist. Now you go back to another religion which has not generally much to do with Vedanta. For instance, Islam. The Quran says, "Wherever thou turnest thy face, there is my presence." So it is as if there is no place where you can turn where it is not there. That being, that intelligent, all-powerful energy, we can call God, if you like to use the word God. And the link to it is through our heart. And the heart that develops compassion, goodness, mercy, this is the heart which is purified to receive the grace of that Supreme Being. So whatever meditation you do, if that meditation also becomes a mere acrobatics, circus, without looking at this nature of the mind, which is to be compassionate, to be kind, to be good, then that meditation may relieve your stress for a while, but it is not of much essence, not of much use.
Thank you, sir. We are listening to Sri M. We will just take a short break.
You can also
Harita Sada Jo Bhade Hari भजे हरि को सदा, जो 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 भजे हरि को सदा, सोई परम पद पावेगा, सोई परम पद पावेगा, सोई परम पद पावेगा। जो भजे हरि को सदा, जो भजे हरि को सदा, जो भजे हरि को सदा, परम पद पावेगा, परम पद पावेगा, कोई परम पद पावेगा। जो भजे हरि को सदा, कोई परम कोई परम दिल के दर्पण को सफा कर, दूर कर अभिमान को, दिल के दर्पण को सफा कर, दूर कर अभिमान को, खाक हो गुरु के कदम की, तो प्रभु मिल जाएगा, परम पद पावेगा, कोई परम पद पावेगा। जो भजे हरि को सदा, कोई परम पद पावेगा, कोई परम पद पावेगा। जो भजे हरि को सदा, जो भजे हरि को सदा, जो भजे हरि।
Welcome back. You are listening to Rainbow 101.3. We have with us Sri M, who is also known as Mumtaz Ali. Sir, can we go to the next question?
Sure.
So, just to quote from Vivekananda's book, that he said that you cannot teach hungry stomachs. So, if we may extend this a little, can we also say that we cannot teach meditation or any spiritual practice to people bogged down with a lot of problems in day-to-day life?
Actually, what Swamiji Vivekananda said was right. You cannot teach Vedanta to empty stomachs. Now the thing is, one of the disciplines or one of the practices by which a human being can be purified and go towards the spiritual path is service. Service to humanity is one of the most important part of a spiritual practice. Every religion on earth preaches or teaches you to serve the needy. There is no religion that does not teach. Charity, giving, helping people who are in need. Don't consider this as not part of meditation. Understand? What is the use of teaching meditation to hungry stomach? Meditation is also trying to help the hungry to look after themselves. That is also part of our religious practice. Meditation is not confined to sitting down 2 minutes in the evening or 10 minutes in the evening and closing your eyes and saying, I saw lights. People who take LSD also see lights. So what is the difference? There is no difference. So The practice, spiritual practice, means also to look after people who are hungry, give them a capacity to earn their living so that they eat, they know they have a square meal. Once they are satisfied with that, then only they will turn to meditation. You see, a hungry man will not, for instance, think, how will I put the sofa in my drawing room? He has no drawing room and he has no idea of a sofa. After he is full and then he expands and evolves, then aesthetics comes into the picture. How to put things, what is beautiful. When you are hungry, you don't see beauty, you see only food. So give them the food, make them grow. Then they will expand to aesthetics. Spiritual experience and spiritual field is one step after aesthetics. It is another evolution from there. Understand? Most of the great Sufis, the singers, the bhajan singers, the great saints have all sung beautiful songs. Why? Because song is that which celebrates the divine. And song is part of aesthetics. See, so there is a direct link between spiritual and music. You understand? Spiritual, and because music also cuts across all language barriers. You can play instrumental music with no language, no lyric. Everybody universally generally enjoys it. Why? Because music cuts across languages. And one of our greatest problems of division in this world is language. Language divides very often. It unites. If you have the same language, you are united. You have another language, you are divided. Music cuts across this. So music is a part of meditation. It is a part of one's devotional practice, which is why all religions, they have some form of music. Even a religion like Islam, which bans music, instrumental music, when the Quran is sung, it is sung in a very certain tune, which is very close to the Samavedic chants, which itself influence you to step higher into the spiritual consciousness.
Thank you, sir. We are listening to Sri M. We will have a bhajan now. So welcome back to the show. We have with us Sri M. Sir, we are talking about service as one of the ways to meditate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir, in your autobiography, you have mentioned that you have spent a lot of time with your guru.
Yeah.
And you met him at the age of 8.
Right.
And then at 19 you went
not
searching for
8,
him.
9.
Went searching for him, and you had almost become so desperate in the sense you almost given up thinking of even ending your life. And at that point in time you met him, and you spent about 3.5 years with him, and later you kept meeting him once in a while. Can you just recall some of those experiences with us?
See, it's a long life, that long time that I spent with him. It's difficult to say that in a few words, but I'll try. My living with him was not just being with a person physically. He studied me and I studied him. Now this is very important for real spiritual progress. The teacher and the taught must know each other properly before we can lay a foundation for understanding. You see, if I talk to you, if you are a Lingayat and I talk to you all the time about Krishna, your mind will automatically develop an insulation against what I am saying. It won't get inside. On the other hand, if I am a Krishna Bhakta or a Vaishnavite, and if I say Shiva is the Supreme and so on, then that will not enter the mind. So the Sufis have a saying, each according to his capacity and each according to his means, his needs. So the main thing about the Guru-Sishya relationship which I had with Maheshwarnath Babaji was that we lived together, slept together, walked together, joked together, ate together. Now in that togetherness, so many things happen which cannot be taught through books or records or anything of that kind. First, I understood him in many ways which I did not know before. And he understood my mind properly so that he had the proper teachings that would be absorbed by my mind in that condition. So this is the main thing in this process. This is to be borne in mind. So there is no common teaching.
Thank you, sir. We'll just come back after a small break. You are listening to CM on FM Rainbow 101.3.
गुरुजी मारे थाने दर लागो आई दीन रो ओ दीन रो दीन रो ओ दीन रो गुरुजी मारे थाने दर लागो आई दीन रो दीन रो गुरुजी एक दीन रो घड़ी आदि फलनो गुरुजी मारे माने दर लागो भाई दीन रो ओ दीन रो गुरुजी मारे गुरुजी मारे माने दर लागो भाई
Welcome back.
Welcome back. You're listening to All India Radio's FM Rainbow on 101.3 megahertz, and we are in conversation with Sri M, popularly known as Mumtaz Ali, and Sri Mumtaz Ali, and facilitating this conversation with me is Sri Basavananda Swami. Well, in case you've got any queries, if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask Sri Mumtaz Ali, all you need to do is message us right now. Note down the number. The number is 56060. And before you send us this message, you need to type BGRP. Pretty easy number to remember. Well, we begin the conversation now.
So welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
You are listening to CM on FM Rainbow 101.3. And sir, as you often mention in your talks, one should begin spiritual practice early in life. Okay, can you please elaborate a little on this?
See, early in life is nice because anything that you learn, it's better to learn when you're young. because the mind is sensitive, the mind is active, the mind is receptive. It's still not become completely covered by the muck that we gather as we grow older. Because the young mind is innocent and open and quiet. So that is the time any study. Why do we send children to school at a young age? We can say, oh, let them get married and settle down, then they can go to school. This is not possible. Because then you have multitudinous problems which you cannot handle. So at that time, your mother, your parents look after you, so they gave you food. You are not worried about your security. So that is the age when you go and learn. So also the mind is very sensitive and open. So we should start at young age. However, if somebody has not got the facility at that time to start looking into the spiritual field, then at any age it is possible to take instructions on the spiritual field. However, it is preferable to start quite young. If you cannot, you start any time. There are some people who actually grow old physically but whose minds are very young. Such people can start at any time. You may see that they are 90 years old but their brains are so sharp. There are people like that. They are not worried. They have worked, they have retired, they are at peace. For such people, any age you can start. Now for others, it's good to start somewhere, right? Because you are saying, I'm old, I cannot study, you should not start. Then you are a non-starter. So start somewhere and carry on till you come to a point where you can begin to understand.
So when between the age of 17 and 35, when the energies are at their peak, people also have lots of problems, emotional pulls, pressures. So how do they manage that, sir?
This is the time when one should start. There is no point in starting when all our energies are gone. The thing is, when all energies are almost finished and we have become old and there are no energies left. I have become old at 63 but my energies are intact. I am just saying this. Normally they are not. Because of abuse, various things of the body, the mind. So it's all gone. What is the use of starting an inquiry at that point? Because you don't even have energy to start an inquiry. Right? So the best time is when you have full energy. If you can't start young, start when you are fully in energy mode. Then that is the time to start. You will have problems, of course, but this must be included as one of the problems and not excluded.
And because of this conflicting situations.
Every human being has conflicting situations. There is no human being who does not have conflicting situations in life. But if you have a conflicting situation, will you, because of the conflicting situation, not work towards a goal? Tell me. Still working towards a goal, no? Suppose I decide I want to make money. I want to do a business. I have conflicting situations in my life, but that will not prevent me from doing that. So, if the spiritual evolution is also one of your aims, none of these will act as a barrier for you to proceed. The question is priority. What is one's priority? If you choose the priority, there is no problem.
So it's between choosing the right and wrong.
Exactly. It is between choosing the right priority, what I should do and what I should not do. Because very often what we need may not be what we want. I may want many things that may not be what I actually need. Because I have not been able to figure out what is needed for my evolution. This comes from a spiritual teacher. If you discuss with a spiritual teacher, he will be able to remove the maze that surrounds and point you out in the right direction. A spiritual teacher doesn't want you to become dependent on him. Dependence is not the aim of spiritual teacher. He should make you free as quickly as possible, stand on your own feet. But when you start to feel confused, there needs to be some kind of a direction that a teacher can provide. Beyond that, don't expect anything from a teacher. All this thing about all illumination, everything will come by looking at the teacher and all is bunkum. Don't believe all that. You have to work towards it.
Right. Thank you, sir. You are listening to CM on FM Rainbow 101.3. We'll be back after a short break.
बरखा रानी जरा जम के बरसो, मेरा दिल बर जा न पाए झूम कर बरसो। बरखा रानी कहते हैं हम गाए हैं, ये अभी तो आए हैं, कहते हैं हम गाए हैं। बरस बरसों बरस ये उम्र भर न जाए। बरखा रानी जरा जम के बरसो, मेरा दिल बर जा न पाए झूम कर बरसो। बरखा रानी
So welcome back, and we are with CM. You are on FM Rainbow 101.3. So can we ask you the next question? That is with regard to the dangers the practitioners may face.
What kind of dangers?
The kind of dangers. Like they might become a little lazy, and they might think that they might cite spiritualism and say that they don't need not work hard.
The problem is that there is always this confusion in people's minds between laziness and spiritual life. They are not two. They are not one. They are two things. Spiritual people are never lazy. If spiritual people are lazy, you take my case for instance. If you think I am spiritual, I don't know, maybe you don't, but suppose you think I am spiritual, have you seen me lazy anytime? You tell me. I am all the time doing something or the other. Maybe I do more work. I always tell people I am one of those what you call salary-less workers who work without a salary. I keep working. So it is not that. Laziness does not come through the practice of meditation. There are some people who mistake meditation for laziness.
Lot.
I have a friend. After lunch he says he is meditating. You go and stand with but it's so this is not meditation. So people mistake sleeping for meditation only during the morning prayer. The rest of the time it is not uttered, and that is as-salatu khairum minan nawam. It means prayer is better than sleep. So if you think prayer is laziness, then there are two things which are put together which are wrong, contradictory. Prayer is better than sleep. Now you include meditation in that. Instead of prayer you use the word meditation. Substitute it. Meditation is better than sleep. So can meditation be sleep? Simple question. Cannot be. So the main thing is, if the mind is lazy and if it is always sleeping, we should awaken it through work. That is called rajas. So from tamoguna you have to awaken it through rajas. From rajoguna it will be lifted to sattva, which is purity. The tranquility of purity is different from the sleep of laziness. These are two different things. Don't mistake them for each other. It is very important to note.
Thank you, sir. You are all listening to CM. CM is author of Apprentice to Himalayan Master, Yogi's Autobiography, and it has been translated into several languages including German and Spanish, and it has been translated into Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Oriya and Hindi,
and our own Kannada,
which will be released on May 19th at Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. It is known as Himalaya Guruvina Garadiyalli Obba Yogiya Atmakate. Sir will come back to you in a short while after a small break.
Thank you.
Ram Ratan Dhan Payo अपना जो बाजो रे मन राम रतन धन पायो जन्म जन्म की जन्म जन्म की पूजी पाए पूजी पाए पूजी पाए जन्म जन्म की पूजी पाए जग में सभी को बाजो बाजो रे मन राम रतन धन 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 बाजो बाजो रे मन खर्च न छूटवा तो खर्च न छूटवा तो जन लूटे दिन दिन बढ़त कबायो बायो रे मन राम रतन
Welcome back to FM Radio 101.3. We are in conversation with Sri M. Sir, can we continue with the questions?
Yes, please.
So you made Bangalore the hub of activities for Satsang Foundation. Was there any reason?
Reasons, there are some simple reasons and there are a little more serious reasons. Simple reason is Bangalore is a wonderful place. It's a nice place to live. I love coming and going to Bangalore. I live in Madanapalli, which is only 3 hours from Bangalore. It's across the border in Andhra Pradesh. But since I can travel back and forth, it's not very far off. And the Satsang Foundation's head office happens to be in Bangalore, in Coxtown. So plus most of my talks in Bharati Vidya Bhavan, everything is done in Bangalore. Bangalore is the biggest city we have, close to Madanapalli, although we are in Andhra Pradesh. So all activities which have to be exposed to the public have to take place in Bangalore. That is one of the reasons why Bangalore has become the hub of satsang activity. Apart from the fact that the climate is good, and I think in general people are good.
So all the listeners who know you would want to know the special reasons.
The special reasons are that it is much more easier for me to handle things when they are done from Bangalore, because I am in Madanapalli. There are wonderful parks like Kaban Park and what is that other big park we have here? Lal Bagh and so on, with plenty of trees where you can go and spend hours together and sit down and do nothing at all.
But not anymore, I think, sir.
Not anymore. We should try that it should not become lesser and lesser as far as possible.
So thank you, sir. So we are listening to CM on FM Rainbow 101.3. We will get back after a short break. So welcome back, dear listeners. We are in conversation with Sri M, who is the author of Apprentice to a Himalayan Master, a yogi's autobiography. Sir, the next question I want to ask you is with regard to anybody who wants to know what is beyond, what is there in this life. It doesn't matter which religion they belong to. So what's the path? How can they start?
First, they have to have an interest in figuring out if there is anything beyond. If we are merely satisfied with our food and our job and our office and our family, and if we think we are happy with that, there is no need to move on to the spiritual path. Very often in this life what happens is when we think sailing is going smooth, everything is going smooth, suddenly something falls on the way. And we wake up and say, oh my God, is this all life is? When such a rude awakening takes place, then man becomes serious searching for man. And when I say man, I mean human being, becomes seriously in search of something which is beyond. Otherwise, you cannot induce somebody to search for that. It has to come from within. He has to be fed up with these things and say, is this all there is? Is this something beyond? When that happens, then the search seriously begins. When the search begins, then when you have searched around and found a teacher, you go to him and ask, sir, I want to go beyond. I am not satisfied with only the things of this earth. Is there some way to do it? Then begins the spiritual journey. If it is a serious spiritual journey. And very often, therefore, pain and suffering brings about the desire to move forward. Because we are always indulging in pleasures and sitting with a lollipop, then you don't want to go beyond. When the lollipop is plucked off from a child, then it starts crying. We also are accustomed to too many lollipops in this life. When that gets plucked out by nature in some way, then we begin to seriously think, is there something more? Should we go further? Is there God? What is happening to me? That is where the inquiry starts. It cannot come through any other way. When that inquiry starts, then it is possible for a spiritual teacher to get the person. Inquiry cannot, the desire for it cannot be induced in anybody. It has to come by itself.
So you mean to say that the guru will come at that time, or
Well, if your inquiry is serious, your guidance will come. It need not necessarily be a personal guru. The guidance will come from somewhere. So
yes, sir. Before we conclude, I got a question out here from Umakant, and he says, I've been striving from a long time, ever since I was born, been meditating, but I'm not able to reach my goal. People have different goals, and how would you address that?
I think that Mr. Umakant should meet me personally, because this is a little bit of an ambiguous question. We don't know what he was doing when he started, and we don't know what he is doing right now. So if I meet him sometime, then it is possible for me to figure out what is the next step and whether he is moving along the same around the proper path. Because at the moment because we don't know what he is doing, what he started with. Because I know many people who start with one thing, then after 2 days something else, then after 2 days something else. It goes on and on. There is no coherence.
Focus, yeah.
There is no coherence. So this is what I think it is better in such matters to meet the person and figure out.
Wonderful.
Rather than
as there's a positive time as we come to an end of the show. In conclusion, would you like to say something to our listeners?
I think the concluding part would be that one listens carefully to what has been discussed today, and as we move along in life, as your program is called Chalte Chalte, so what I said today need not be considered as prose. Spirituality can be conveyed more through poetry and song. So Chalte Chalte mere geet yaad rakhna, kahin alvida na kehna, kahin alvida na kehna is the best end to this, I think.
So thank you so much for joining us in this show, and dear listeners, you are listening to Sri M, who is the author of Apprentice to a Himalayan Master, an accomplished yogi, and author of several books. And if you want more details, you can get it from satsang-foundation.org. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Vasavanand Swami.
Thank you, sir.